A strong hold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana, and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Delhi High Court authorizes posthumous use of cryopreserved semen for reproduction. Supreme Court expressed concern over non-action by states of Punjab and Haryana against stubble burning. Supreme Court questions feasibility of Nyayalayas. Meta must face US state lawsuits over teen social media addiction. China's Jiangmen underground Neutrino Observatory to start gathering data on neutrinos. International Union for Conservation of Nature released a flagship report titled Agriculture and Conservation. In a landmark ruling, the Delhi High Court has authorized a 60-year-old couple to use the cryopreserved sperm of their deceased son for surrogacy. This decision marks a significant moment in the realm of reproductive rights and assisted reproductive technology in India. The court's judgment highlights that under Indian law, there is no prohibition against posthumous reproduction if the consent of the sperm owner is clearly demonstrated. Posthumous reproduction, as defined by the court, involves conceiving a child using assisted reproductive technology after one or both biological parents have passed away. In such case, a deceased person's cryopreserved gametes are used to conceive a child. In this case, the court concluded that a semen sample, much like an ovum sample, constitutes property and can be inherited by legal heirs. This sets a precedent for future cases involving the use of biological material after death. Now, assisted reproductive technology, or ART, encompasses all techniques that attempt to obtain a pregnancy by handling the sperm outside the human body and transferring the gamete or the embryo into the reproductive system of a woman. This includes methods such as in vitro fertilization, surrogacy, and gamete cryopreservation. The ruling comes in the context of the ART Regulation Act of 2021, which aims to oversee ART clinics and banks, ensuring the safe and ethical practice of these services. Additionally, the Surrogacy Regulation Act of 2021 prohibits commercial surrogacy, allowing it only in altruistic circumstances.
In a significant development, the Supreme Court has expressed its deep concern over the failure of state of Punjab and Haryana to take decisive action against stubble burning. The practice, which largely contributes to the deteriorating air quality in the Delhi NCR region, has been under the scanner for several years. However, little progress seems to have been made in addressing the issue. The court firmly pointed out that both states have yet to implement the directions issued by Commission for Air Quality Management (CAQM) back in 2021. These guidelines were designed specifically to curb the annual menace of stubble burning, but the lack of follow-through by the state governments has left the situation unresolved. Now, for those unfamiliar, parali or stubble is the lowest portion of rice crop that remains after harvest. And the practice of setting fire due to this leftover stubble is stubble burning. This method is particularly common from September to November, especially in areas where combine harvesters are used. The goal is to quickly clear the fields before the wheat sowing season begins. The short time available between rice harvesting and sowing of wheat contributes to this factor, as it is considered as cheapest methods to clean the field after harvesting season. But the consequences of stubble burning are severe. It is a major source of air pollutants, including PM10, PM2.5, and nitrogen oxides, which cause significant health issues. Furthermore, the release of greenhouse gases contributing to the rising global temperatures, while the loss of nutrients in crop leftovers to atmosphere has adverse impact on soil fertility. So what are the solutions? There are various stubble management strategies that could be adopted. Farmers could incorporate the stubble back into the soil, thereby improving soil fertility and productivity, and replenishing soil nutrients. Agricultural leftovers could also be used for animal feed or to generate nutrient-rich compost. Additionally, the production of bran oil, bioethanol, and biogas offers alternative ways to utilize crop residues. In terms of governmental initiatives, the Commission on Air Quality Management in the NCR and adjoining areas was established under a statutory act in 2021, aimed at regulating air quality. We also have the Graded Response Action Plan, GRAP, an emergency mechanism designed to combat air pollution in Delhi NCR region, often triggered when air quality levels worsen, particularly in the Delhi NCR region. Furthermore, efforts are being made to increase the affordability of crop residue management (CRM) machinery to help farmers manage their stubble without burning it. That's all for now on the Supreme Court's recent remarks regarding stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana. It remains to be seen how both states will address the issue in the coming days. In a crucial development, the Supreme Court has raised concerns about the feasibility of setting up Gram Nyayalayas, or village courts, as mandated by the Gram Nyayalayas Act of 2008. These courts were envisioned to ensure justice reaches the grassroots, giving citizens an opportunity for legal redressal, particularly those hindered by social, economic, or other disabilities. Now, let's delve into the key concerns raised by the Supreme Court. One of the major points of contention is whether the establishment of Gram Nyayalayas by states or UTs is mandatory or not. Section 3 of the Act uses the term may, which leaves it open to interpretation by states and union territory governments on whether to constitute these courts or not. Another pressing issue is the resource crunch faced by many state governments. Already grappling with limited funds for maintaining regular courts, the financial strain of setting up additional Gram Nyayalayas is a significant challenge. Furthermore, there is concern about the rising burden on high courts, as Gram Nyayalayas could end up burdening high courts with appeals and writ petitions. Now, let's look at the key features of these Gram Nyayalayas. These courts are to be established at an intermediate level, serving one or a group of contiguous panchayats. The state government, in consultation with the High Court, appoints a Nyaya Adhikari for each Gram Nyayalaya in consultation with the High Court. Interestingly, these courts are mobile and have both civil and criminal jurisdiction, ensuring greater accessibility. Disputes are preferably settled through conciliation, with social workers appointed as conciliators. It's also important to note that Gram Nyayalayas are not bound by the Indian Evidence Act, later replaced by the Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam, but instead follow the principles of natural justice. In terms of implementation, status of Gram Nyayalayas, there's a long road ahead. While the initial target was to establish around 2,500 Gram Nyayalayas, fewer than 500 have been set up. And of those, only 314 are currently operational across the country. States like Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan have made progress, but others, notably Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, have seen limited or no implementation. On a positive note, the union government has initiated a Central Sponsored Scheme, CSS, to support the establishment of Gram Nyayalayas, providing financial assistance to states. So that's the update on Gram Nyayalayas, a system aimed at making justice more accessible, but currently facing significant hurdles in its implementation.
In a prominent development, Meta, the parent company of Facebook, is facing lawsuits from several US states regarding the growing issue of social media addiction among teenagers. This legal action underscores increasing concerns over the impact of social media platforms like Facebook and Snapchat on young users. At the heart of this issue is the alarming rise in social media usage among teens, driven largely by sophisticated algorithms designed to keep users engaged. Studies reveal that these algorithms exploit a psychological phenomenon known as the habit loop, where the brain seeks rewards, creating a cycle of compulsive behavior. Additionally, the surge in mobile device access plays a crucial role. With the rise of nuclear families, many parents are stretched thin by work commitments, leaving children with more time and opportunity to engage with social media. Unfortunately, this can lead to serious consequences. Experts warn that social media addiction can expose teens to cyberbullying, heightening the risk of mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. Moreover, the impact is not limited to emotional well-being. Studies show that children aged 9 to 13 spend over 3 hours daily on social media, reducing their outdoor activities and promoting a sedentary lifestyle. To combat this growing concern, experts are calling for several measures. These include establishing a minimum age for social media use and integrating technology that encourages productive engagement rather than addiction. Some initiatives are already in place. Meta has set a self-imposed minimum age of 13 for its platforms. In Kerala, India, police have launched digital de-addiction centers offering free counseling for children up to 18 years old. Furthermore, the Central Board of Secondary Education in India has issued guidelines in 2016 aimed at promoting safe internet use in schools. China is making strides in neutrino research with the Jiangmen underground neutrino observatory, which is set to start gathering data on these elusive subatomic particles. The observatory aims to unlock some of the deepest mysteries surrounding neutrinos, such as their origin and interaction with other particles. So what exactly are neutrinos? They are subatomic particles with an extremely small mass compared to other elementary particles. There are 3 types of neutrinos: electron, muon, and tau neutrinos. Interestingly, these particles can change between types as they travel, a process known as neutrino oscillation. Some key characteristics of neutrinos include their spin of 1/2 and a neutral charge. They travel almost at the speed of light, and remarkably, they rarely interact with other matter, earning them the nickname ghost particles. Despite being hard to detect, they are actually the most abundant particles with mass in the universe. The only forces they respond to are gravity and weak force. Now let's talk about JUNO's contribution in studying neutrinos and its significance. This observatory will provide us with the ability to observe solar neutrinos in real time from the sun, gaining a real-time view of solar processes. It will also study neutrinos released from the radioactive decay of uranium and thorium deep within the Earth, enhancing our understanding of the mantle convection that drives tectonic plates. Moreover, JUNO could help us investigate some of the most violent events in the universe, like exploding stars and gamma-ray bursts. JUNO is not the only observatory focused on neutrinos. India has its own India-based neutrino observatory located in Tamil Nadu's Theni district, funded by the Department of Atomic Energy and the Department of Science and Technology. Other notable projects include the IceCube Neutrino Observatory in Antarctica, China's Trident Telescope, and USA's Dune experiment. As JUNO begins its data collection, it marks an exciting chapter in neutrino research with the potential to revolutionize our understanding of these mysterious particles and the universe itself.
The International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN, has released its flagship report titled Agriculture and Conservation, providing a deep dive into the intricate relationship between agricultural practices and biodiversity conservation. Let's first talk about the impact of agriculture on biodiversity. According to the report, agriculture poses a direct threat to 34% of species currently assessed on the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. This is primarily due to the conversion of natural habitats into croplands, pasture lands, plantations, and irrigation systems. Moreover, indirect impacts such as introduction of invasive alien species, soil erosion, agrochemical usage, and even climate change exacerbate the issue. However, it's not all negative. Interestingly, the report highlights that 17% of species on the IUCN Red List have agriculture documented as their habitat, illustrating some positive impact. Let's now take a closer look at how biodiversity impacts agriculture. On the positive side, ecosystems provide critical support to agriculture in 2 main ways. First, through provisioning services, which include the production of biomass and genetic materials essential for crops. Second, through regulating and maintenance services, such as climate regulation, sediment retention, nutrient cycling, water flow management, and pollination. However, ecosystems can also have negative impacts on agriculture. These come in form of disservices like crop predation, pests, and the spread of pathogens, which can hinder agricultural productivity. Moving forward, the report outlines key recommendations for aligning agriculture with conservation goals. A major recommendation is to promote sustainable agriculture, safeguarding places and species that are unable to coexist with agriculture while ensuring food security. It also emphasizes maintaining ecosystem services like climate regulation and water flow, which are critical for agricultural success. Furthermore, the report urges reforms in agricultural and economic policies. Currently, less than 5% of global agricultural subsidies are classified as green subsidies, highlighting the need for greater alignment with conservation. And finally, it advocates for food policy reforms to reduce wastage and encourage positive dietary changes, such as reducing meat consumption, which could have far-reaching benefits for both conservation and food security. This IUCN report is a significant step in highlighting how agriculture and conservation can work hand in hand to secure future of both our ecosystems and food supply. In today's Place in News, we will be discussing Algeria with its capital, Algiers. Recently, President of India paid a visit to Algeria. Let's discuss its political features. It is a country of North Africa located in Maghreb region. Maghreb region comprises essentially the Atlas Mountains and the coastal plain of Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia and Libya. It shares land boundaries with Tunisia and Libya in the east, Niger, Mali and Mauritania in the south, Morocco and Western Sahara in the west, and Mediterranean Sea in the north. In terms of its major rivers are Shalf and Jedi River. Its highest point is Mount Tahat. And the climate here is Mediterranean climate, with warm, dry summers and mild, rainy winters.
As we wrap up today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. First, ASEAN-India Track 1 Cyber Policy Dialogue was held in Singapore. Track 1 diplomacy refers to official diplomacy, where communication is directly between or among governments. These formal discussions are conducted by diplomats, heads of state, and other official authorities. United Kingdom, a Five Eye alliance, recently extended support to Canada in recent diplomatic crisis with India. Five Eye Alliance is a multilateral intelligence sharing network shared by over 20 different agencies of 5 English-speaking countries. Standing Committee of the National Board for Wildlife has cleared key road stretches passing through the Karakoram Wildlife Sanctuary. The sanctuary is located in the easternmost parts of the Karakoram Range in Leh District, Ladakh. International Energy Agency released its flagship World Energy Outlook 2024. The geopolitical tensions and fragmentation are major risks for energy security. Around 20% of today's global oil and LNG supplies flow through the Strait of Hormuz, a maritime choke point in the Middle East. India has signed a deal with the US to acquire 170 AGM-114R Hellfire missiles. It is a short-range air-to-ground missile with a range of around 7 to 11 km. It can neutralize a broad range of targets including air defense, patrol boats, armor, enemy combatants, etc. with this multi-purpose warhead. Government recently extended scheme for capacity building in textile sector for 2 years with a budget of Rs 495 crore to train 3 lakh persons in textile-related skills. It aims to encourage and support the industry in creating jobs in the organized, textile and related sectors, covering the entire value chain of textiles, excluding spinning and weaving. National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management, Kundli, has unveiled solar-assisted reefer transportation with hybrid controls and intelligence system. Sarthi will help in reducing post-harvest losses in perishable food transportation. Food and Agriculture Organization opened the 2024 Hand in Hand Investment Forum. The Hand in Hand initiative was launched in 2019 by FAO. It supports the implementation of nationally led ambitious programs to accelerate agri-food systems transformations by eradicating poverty, ending hunger and malnutrition, and reducing inequalities. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found our today's news episode engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and for the PDF version, visit links in description below.